Hey everybody, I'm Dan McClellan. I'm a scholar of the Bible and religion, and in a video earlier today I mentioned that the academic consensus is that the doctrine of creation ex nihilo, or creation out of nothing, was first created in the late 2nd century CE by Christians. So let's take a look at a comment I got on that video. The ex nihilo concept actually appears in 2nd Maccabees, which predates Christianity. It's a pretty common assertion, part of the conventional wisdom, that 2nd Maccabees 7:28, where it refers to God having created the heavens and the earth, uk exonton, or not out of things that exist, is a reference to the doctrine of creation ex nihilo. But it has been the consensus view within scholarship for decades that this is not a reference to creation ex nihilo, but to a pretty conventional Greco-Roman philosophical framework that divided all of the universe's matter into matter that had being, which meant form and function, and matter that did not have being, which means it was unformed matter. It did not have form and function. And to take it from a state of lacking form and function into a state of having form and function is to create. And so a very similar phrase, uk ek onton, in, for instance, Xenophon's Memorabilia, refers to parents creating children in the womb. That is not out of nothing. It's just taking unformed matter and imposing a recognizable form and function upon it. Now, the earliest and the most forceful argument for this position was offered by Gerhard May in 1978 with the original German edition of this English translation from the mid-90s, Creatio ex nihilo, the doctrine of creation out of nothing in early Christian thought. And then in the mid-80s, Jonathan Goldstein and David Winston went back and forth in the Journal of Jewish Studies about the origins of creation ex nihilo, and Winston had to acknowledge that Goldstein's argument had a better foundation, and Goldstein was furthering the argument of May. And in 1995, James Hubler wrote a wonderful doctoral dissertation for the University of Pennsylvania that explores in a lot more detail the circumstances in the 2nd century CE that give rise within Christian philosophical traditions to the doctrine of creation ex nihilo. Then just over a decade ago, Marcus Bachmuel published a great paper in the Scottish Journal of Theology discussing creation ex nihilo, and explicitly states that 2nd Maccabees 7:28 is not an expression of creation ex nihilo, and that this has long been the consensus among scholars. And this is significant because Bachmuel, who is a professor of theology at Oxford University, is a staunch defender of the doctrine of creation ex nihilo. And shortly after that paper, he and Gary Anderson edited this volume, Creation ex nihilo, Origins, Development, Contemporary Challenges. And like Bachmuel did in his paper, Anderson in the introductory chapter explains that the academic consensus is that the statements in the New Testament in 2nd Maccabees 7:28 about things being created out of that which does not exist is not a reflection of creation ex nihilo, but a contemporary conventional philosophical framework deriving from Plato and from Aristotle that just understands matter to either be in a state of being with form and function or non-being without form and function. So to reiterate, it is and long has been the academic consensus that neither 2nd Maccabees 7:28 nor any of the passages in Colossians or Hebrews or elsewhere in the New Testament are actually assertions of the doctrine of creation ex nihilo, but are just traditional Greco-Roman perspectives on the nature of matter. The doctrine of creation ex nihilo would not be worked out till the late 2nd century CE, and it is nowhere found in the Bible.